Welcome to the Radically Embody Love podcast with myself, Jessica Falcon, and Nas Barbic. We are excited to bring in 2023 with a talk about creative visioning and the kind of the intentions, the desires that are perhaps percolating within you, within us for the year ahead, and what this really entails. For example, it's so easy to get caught up in like just making these goals and getting wrapped up and thinking we have to do all these things. But perhaps it's more about who you want to be. Perhaps it's more about what you want to experience inside of yourself and less about what you want to do. Or, okay, you have all these desires that you're aware of. Are they really yours? Or are they just what you think you should be doing? And if they are your deep, soulful desires and longings, how do you bring them forth and manifest them in the world? And so these are the kind of things that I would love to kind of dig in today. Because when Nasa and I were talking about, we wanted to honor the new year with, all right, like these intentions and these desires and moving forward. And I know for myself, when I really sit with what I want to create and that creative process, right now, it feels much more like an internal journey of deepening into some soul longings and deepening into the energy of what I desire to create and the energy of who I am in that creation process. Yeah, so I'd love to dig into that a little bit more with you, Nas, today.
Yes, and happy new 2023. I love that, especially for this time of year. We all try at least to set, either we look at it as we want to set our goal, we have a new resolution, the way we look at it. I think most people have a process that they go through. But as we know, as research showed, not all of us follow. And for most of us, after 2-3 months, we are off the goals that we have set for ourselves or intention that we have set. So it's interesting that there is no one way that we all look at how we want to set, do you want to call it intention or goals? But what I like about this process is the aspect that you mentioned, rather than detailed list of how we want to achieve and how we're going to get this done, is the question of who do I need to become to achieve my intention, my goals, whatever that vision that I'm have for myself. And I would love you to talk about how do we go about realizing, okay, I have this vision, I have that goal, and if I haven't achieved it, it means there's something within me that yet needs to grow. There's another aspect that I need to look at rather than doing, which is internal, and how we do go about sort of determining who do we need to become to actually achieve or manifest that desire that we have.
There's so much I could say in response to that. Like, one thing I want to mention is that I think when we really commit to doing or devote to living a soulful life, for me, my soul isn't interested in my mental ideas of what I think I should be experiencing. I've learned that over and over, sometimes against my own kind of mental resistance, right? Like what I think I should be experiencing this year might not be what my soul actually wants me to experience this year. And so I've learned how to tap into what my soul actually desires for me. And that's really for me through the heart and through the womb and through the body, and like deep listening and deep introspection and deep spaciousness to allow those things to arise, so that when we become this, like it's really that we are Beginning to embody the energy of what we desire. And for me, I can only do that when it's in alignment with what my soul desires. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
And so it's
absolutely.
like that the melding of, okay, what is it that my soul desires, and how do I then embody the energy of that so that it becomes real for me before I even maybe experience it in the physical realm, so
Mm,
that it's the energetic resonance that I can create through the embodiment. Say, for example, my word this year is expansion. It's one of my words. Expansion, ecstasy, and trust are my three words for the year. And I can't, for example, experience expansion in my life and certain things that my soul desires for me if my body is in a contracted state. And so that would mean for me, so where is it that I fear expansion? Where is it that I'm afraid to trust? Where is it that I'm not allowing ecstasy into my life? Where is it that I can open even more to love? Where is it that I can open even more into trusting the sensations of my body when they arise? Where is it that I can welcome even more of me and expand into that even when it scares me? And so for me, it's really about not focusing so much on, okay, I want to expand into XYZ, but how can I expand in this moment? How can I bring the energy of that into my daily life? How can I be that? How can I embody expansion every day through everything I experience? How can I embody that trust every day? How can I embody that ecstasy every day so that it's no longer something I'm going out to get or I think I don't have, but it is who I am. It is what I be. It is the daily resonance, right? And then that then allows what my soul desires me to expand into to then flow into me because I'm open to receiving it and I'm energetically allowing that into my life.
yeah, I love the way you said it. But just to be clear for anybody who's listening and they have a goal and they might not be very clear, what do we mean by, I know I want to create more money in my business. I know I want to find the love of my life. That's my intention for this year, right? So what do you mean by energy? Let's talk about that. Like, how can we break it down from, having a solid goal that we
Mhm.
all have desires, and that's how we start. Like, I'm desiring something, right? Just say, first example, you want to create more abundance now in your personal life, your job you have, business you have. How we go about it is, for me, is like asking the question of, first, why do I want it? The reason that I want this in my life can actually, if we keep asking, lead to the energy that we're trying to create. And if we keep asking the right question, at the end, it might be freedom, right? I want to create more money so I have freedom in my life to experience what I want to experience, right? I want that freedom to be able to be more creative in other area of my life, right? So it's like when we get to that level of, okay, if that's freedom that I want to create, now how can I create freedom now where I am and this moment in my life? Because I think what you were mentioning is like, okay, what is that energy that I want to experience, which is actually ultimately gonna get me to my desire, right? Because that's how we create energy, through energy, and aligning with the energy of what the outcome that we want requires, right? Or if it's love, how can I create more love in my life right now? How can I love myself a little bit more right now? How can I get into that energy of love? Because by law of attraction, I would attract more love to my life when I am aligned with that energy and opening my heart and expanding in that way, right? And so then that requires the question of who do I need to be, right? To have that energy, embody that energy day in and day out, to be aligned and create more of it in our life. Would you like to give an example of how that works for you?
Yeah, I love your description of how you do that and go into that. And I like when I talk about that, I'll give a concrete example from what you gave. So you talked about, say, for example, someone's desire is to have more abundance in their life.
Mm.
And that could be, right? Like for me, abundance could mean financial abundance. It could mean abundance of love, abundance of connection, abundance of spaciousness, freedom, all those things, right? So, like as you said, when someone digs into that, they can kind of really get to the root of what that actually is for them. And then after doing that, let's just do a little practice here. You okay with
Yeah.
that?
Oh, absolutely.
So then I would, and let's all just do this for abundance, because who doesn't want more abundance of connection and love and wealth and all the things, right? So let's just do this for abundance in our life. So close our eyes and let's take a couple of deep breaths. So breathe in, exhale, allow yourself to make noise on your exhale, breathing in. One more time. Bring the breath all the way down into your body. And then notice your belly breath and your body, your legs, your feet. You can place your hands on your thighs if you're sitting down. You can also do this standing. And then come into your heart space when you feel grounded and feel into the word abundance and what abundance means for you. Could be wealth, opportunities, freedom, spaciousness, connections, whatever that is for you. Allow it to start to feel your heart, fill your heart. And begin to feel that energy of abundance. For me, it's expansion. So I'm going to bring my arms out wide. Feel abundance in your body. Feel the energy of this, and then allow your body, your whole body, to feel this energy. Move the energy from your heart down to your womb and belly, into your legs and feet, out of your hands and arms and your core. And then you can say out loud, I am abundant. I am abundant. And feel this in your body. Feel what it's like to feel abundant in your body, to have everything you desire. Feel what it's like. I am abundant. Feel this in your heart. Feel your heart resonate with the truth of this, because you are that. You are already that. It is your divine inheritance. It is who and what you are, to be abundant, because you are one with life itself. And then as you bring your arms back down to your legs, you might want to rub your hands into your thighs, bring your energy into your body as you remember what this feeling is in your body. Take a big deep breath. Exhale. You can open your eyes, and the quote work after you know that feeling in your body is to then bring that feeling into your body every day, and also anytime you start to feel, say, an energy of lack or scarcity or not having or disconnection, then catch yourself. Then the work is to notice the thought, notice the feeling that's not what you desire to create. And then go, oh, I see that I'm operating from lack here, lack of love, that I'm feeling I'm not worthy. Oh, okay. So how can I then bring that part of me into love to create that feeling of an abundance of love within me? And so then that's kind of the continuation, like I was talking about earlier, of, okay, expansion. Well, if I'm contracting against a feeling, well, how can I expand into that feeling and allow it more, right?
Yeah, thank you for taking us through that beautiful practice. And as you mentioned, even during this practice, when you do the practice, if you see resistance arises, we want to allow it to be without resisting it. And then investigate a little bit to see if you can name it. What is that resistance arises when I think about abundance? What is, and if you name it, okay, so there's a fear that is there. And then what is the belief underneath of that fear that causes me to feel this tension? And it might be many things. You might not feel the worthy of what you're seeking, the abundance, or doubting that you are able to create that. Whatever that might be, just name it and allow it to be. And then see in that, when you welcome it and allow it to be, if you can change that and see the possibility that arises from that, okay, I see you, but I also see the possibility that I can move through that energy and create an expansion and abundance. But I think for some of the energy that we do want to create, there might be resistance that is showing up for us. And it's good to just allow it to be and recognize what it is, right? What is arising when I feel like, okay, I want this abundance, this freedom, this love. What part of me feels like maybe I'm not worthy of what I'm seeking? And just sit with it and see we can. And I found when I allow it to be and sit with it, and then introduce a possibility of there is something else that can arise from this place, and that soothes the energy that, the resistance that arises.
Yeah, because if we're resisting the resistance, what are
Mm-hmm.
we doing? We're compounding the problem.
Right.
And so, as you said, to really sit with the resistance and lean into it. And I would really, for me, I would kind of be like, oh, okay, so there's this like, like sometimes I
Yeah.
kind of get this like, can I really receive that? Or can I really have that? Or this part of
Mm-hmm.
me that almost like goes into that freeze, right?
Right.
And so it's like, oh, okay, can I breathe into that reaction
Mm.
and then be really curious, right?
Right.
Just be like really breathe in and then open my heart to it so that there is no lack of love even for the resistance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And then
because if we don't have any resistance and we fully aligned, we already see the manifestation of what we're seeking naturally,
yes
right?
and no. There's divine timing. I would say from a soul perspective, and I totally, absolutely honor that that's kind of the
Mm-hmm.
law of attraction and all of that. And I think that the universe is way more mysterious than that. And there can also be something to a divine timing that is about more than us, that is about how we affect others and that we're not the only ones here in this world. And the soul has kind of a higher purpose that sometimes can remain really mysterious to us. And that it's, for me, it's, yes, we create the energy, we look at our subconscious, we we shift our energetic patterns, we open to more love, we open to more abundance, we open to whatever it is we desire by connecting to what our soul desires for us. And then we surrender it all and we trust that the soul knows what we desire. And we trust in the divine timing because we're not alone here on this planet. And we really trust. And for me, I want to give a little story about that because, as you know, I have a book, which is now called The Power of Eve. And I started writing this book many, many years ago. I've done many, many years of research and many years of self-study and spent countless hours, money, all sorts of things on this book. And about a year and a half ago, I'd worked with an editor in New York, one of the most sought after development editors, really amazing. At the end of our time together, she's like, okay, we're done. All right, this is it. Well, something in my gut was like, don't know. I don't feel it. I don't feel it 100%, but okay, everything looks like it's supposed to be done. Thought I was done. And then fast forward, like nothing really worked the way I wanted it to. And I was a little frustrated, like after all I've done, after all I've given, I've trusted over and over and over and all of this stuff, right? And then this past September 1st, I woke up with a dream because I'd ended up setting the book aside, focused on creating more of my practice and offerings. And September 1st, I had a dream, which was the same day, very significant day. It was the day I arrived on the mountain of Mary Magdalene in 2013, September 1st. And on that day in 2022, I had a dream about the book and that it was time to pick it back up. And it was actually that I needed the year plus of time completely away from the book to be able to have a certain level of clarity and completion to add revisions. There's no way I could have added a year prior. To add information I had learned, there's no way I could have known to add a year prior. And so even though I thought, and it was my soul desire and all the things, and it looked like it should be, that my soul had a different timing that I had to trust, and that now, okay, now it's ready in a way that it could not have been. And there's no way I could have known with my mind a year and a half ago, that I had to just trust in that divine timing. And I've had that happen so much in my life that I just feel like we can set all the desires in the world, and we're meant to create that intention for our life to be the creator, and then offer it up to what our soul actually desires to bring in that may or may not always align to that. So can we surrender to that too?
Yes, thank you for mentioning that. That is part of the process, right? Surrender, non-attachment, and part of that building trust, right? And trust, as you said, the timing of when, the universe like if you have the trust that universe has your back and everything happens for your own good, then you trust the process as well. That if it's not happening right now, there might be a divine, intervention. Something better is coming up, or it needs to change, right? That, as you mentioned, as your soul seeking to give it a different direction or add something to it.
Because I think we often could go into like, well, what's wrong with me if it's not happening? What's wrong with me? Like, there's so much of that in our culture. There's so much of that on social media. There's so much of that everywhere. Like, oh, what's wrong with me if I don't have what I want? Well, nothing is wrong with you. First of all, asking ourselves that question keeps us from what we truly desire, because nothing is wrong with us. And there's so much in the world around manifestation that is beautiful. And there's so much in the world of manifestation that points the finger and blame, and as if we're not doing something right when we're not experiencing what we desire. And I just take a lot of issue with that, because that has not been my personal experience. And my personal experience is that the soul knows. And it's more about creating a relationship with the soul and the body and the heart and loving ourselves through everything. And that deep level of knowing oneself, that than it is about an actual desire or intention. That it's really more about who we be, how we live this life, how we connect to everything around us, how we let life move through us as it is and not resist life, not resist what is, and then use everything to come into deeper and deeper states of love with ourselves, with the world, with others, with our passions, with our creations, so that everything is coming from a place of love and abundance, not from lack or need or I don't have, and trusting ourselves to take care of ourselves no matter what happens. Even if we don't get anything we want, can we love ourselves in that? I'm way more concerned about that than I am having what I want. I'm way more concerned with, can I love myself in the midst of what I don't think I want, but my soul wants me to experience?
Mm.
Can I be with that 120%? Because if I'm resisting that, that to me is creating separation from what is, which is outside of the moment, outside of my body, outside of my soul.
Beautifully said. And I think we have to leave it to that. And just, for our own evolvement and growth, we can see every conversation that we have, that how deep it can get, right? And it's not as easy as saying 1, 2, 3, do this, and then follow, do this.
No, the soul is a little
Right?
too complex for that.
Exactly. So it's like we always leave it as, yes, we can like do some, like in set the intention, put our attention, our intention, and there are opening up to possibility and what our soul journey is and what is happening at the moment, and finding peace and joy where we at, and taking it every day with that intention, but being open to what life is bringing us as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then all of our creations and desires and visions manifest from that relationship with ourself,
Mm,
from that relationship with our soul, from that continuous opening to love. Everything comes from that place.
mm.
Everything we desire is there.
Yeah, yeah. And one of the words that I have a board in front of me that I put the things that I want to focus on is unshakable trust. And everything that you're saying requires that unshakable trust in yourself and not doubting ourselves as much, and unshakable trust in what our soul is guiding us and want us to take in a way, without, when, even though sometimes we feel the fear behind it, but can I trust it and just keep moving forward towards that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really would love to mention, because this is so appropriate to my next offering,
Mm-hmm.
the Connect to the Voice of Your Womb 22 activation. It starts February 2nd, and it's all about this. It's all about deepening into what your soul is asking, what your soul desires, what your soul longs for. It is connecting you to the ancient voice of your soul, which resides in your womb. And we all have a womb, whether we have a physical womb or not. We have an energetic womb. So men and women have a womb. It's about really deeply connecting to that place and then bringing that information up so that you can hear it, so that you can really become attuned to that soul voice. It's a lot of juicy practices and rituals, journal prompts, 22 days of support, a couple live calls, and there's a free event the week before at Activate Your Sacred From and Empower on January 26th. So we'll put the links in the show notes, but definitely join us for that if you're interested in kind of moving from that soulful place this year.
Yeah, and I have worked with Jessica, and I want to testify to the power of the work she does. I mean, she's great in embodiment practices, which I think is really needed when we want to embody the energy that we try to create, right? And not only that, that embodiment help us to realize what is the resistance, what is the energy that we bumping against, and how to release it. So
Yeah,
definitely check it out.
thank you. It's been so fun today, as
Yes,
always.
yes.
And guys, let us know like what your questions are, what your comments are. As always,
Hmm.
also, we want to know what you want us to talk about, but let us know what this brings up for you. And if you want to just put even your comment of your intention, like what you're calling in 2023, we'll cheer you on. We'll hold you in that.
Yeah, and I just wanted to mention, if it's not clear, Jessica and I never plan what we're gonna. I mean, we only pick a topic. Even today was not very clear what we're gonna talk about until the last minute. And I said, let's just go and see what comes out. Let's talk about it. So we don't like plan ahead what we're gonna say or what's gonna come up. We're just in it and having a conversation and see what comes up for us and what we want to talk about.
Because we want it to be real. I
Mm.
mean, I certainly don't enjoy rehearsing things because then it just comes from my mind versus just being real and in the moment, which is, I would love for us all to be able to live that way,
Mm-hmm.
where we are connected to our bodies and our hearts and our soul, and we can be so present that we allow that truth to rise in us in every moment. I mean, could you imagine the world?
Yeah, that would be amazing. And we do need that unshakable trust for that.
Yeah, we do. It's the trusting. It's the
Right.
trusting that we know.
Hmm.
It's trusting we know.
Hmm.
We know. We
And if
know.
you don't know, it's fine,
Yeah.
right? The trust in that, we are here to learn. I don't know everything, and I am learning from Jessica. I'm always looking forward to our conversation. And honestly, every time we have a conversation off the camera or in the camera, I'm expanding, and I literally feel the vibration when we end our calls. And that's what I'm always looking forward to.
Me too, because we get to just allow truth to move through us, and we're
Mhm.
trusting that that will expand us. And you're right, we don't always know everything, of course.
Mhm.
None of us will know everything, but we know what we feel when we're connected, and we know that we can take care of ourselves, and we know that we it's starting for me, it's like developing that capacity for self resilience and self trust is knowing I know how to connect with my knowing. I
Mhm.
know how to connect with what I need. I know how to connect with my desires. And I know how to say, I don't know, and feel
Mhm.
confident saying that because I know how to take care of myself, even if others are judging me, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.
Until next time.
Until next time, love you all.
Love you. Bye.